Welcome to the Berks Homes podcast, the business of building homes. I'm Katie. I'm here with my brother Ben, and today we are talking about the International Builder Show
2025.
We just got back, actually a long time ago, but someone got sick.
And I'm still sick or something. I have very low energy for some reason, but I am here and we are talking about the Builder Show. And I'm wearing my new shoes that were a gift from somebody at the Builder Show, Novi Homes.
We have to talk a little bit about them today as part of the takeaways from the show.
Yeah.
I have a pair also, and I was so disappointed I didn't wear them today.
Yeah.
So it's good marketing.
I do like these.
Right there.
Yes, you're welcome.
That's why I take you places.
I am a professional marketer.
Exactly. So we should probably talk about why we even go to the Builder Show, why it is important for us to be there.
Well, I think you have some stuff written down, but for me, high level is number one is the networking.
Yes.
You know, not just meeting new people, but reconnecting with friends and people you've met in the past.
That's one of mine.
And networking, you know, is always like, there's a lot of reasons you network in general, right? It's a little self-serving. Sometimes you're trying to get something from somebody, right? But you're also trying to learn.
Yeah.
And obviously even provide value
for other people,
to people that you meet along the way. I feel like there's usually a little bit of all that.
Yeah.
When we go to the Builder Show and reconnect, especially with people that we've known for a while. But most people probably are there just because they want to understand what trends are.
Yes.
You know, from a product standpoint, it's like one of the last things on the list. For me.
You?
Yeah. Because if it's something I'm seeing for the first time, it's probably months, if not years away from like full-blown, production home building application.
Production home building is like Midwest fashion.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
When it hits us, it's been at the Builder Show for 5
like a
years
decade.
to 10. Yeah. So it is a little bit aggravating to go to it from that standpoint for me.
Yeah.
Because
from
everything,
merchandising.
Yeah. Well, and just product in general. I'm like, oh, I want to add this to the lineup and it's like, just calm down.
I think it's overrated though in general.
Like products.
All the new stuff because
hot take.
Well, think about it. Let's just say, okay, there was this, how they always have those big gigantic doors.
Yeah.
Like when they came out with the accordion ones, 15 years ago, and it's like, okay, 16 foot, clear span door. Beautiful. Awesome. $30,000 or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, there's a lot of custom builders who can probably absorb that into a budget. And now they have like those giant vertical ones that are, the one that was there was 30 some feet tall.
Yeah.
Okay. There's like 3 builds a year that use a door like that. It's a $75,000 door. I'm like, great. What's the point of showing that?
Well, for attention.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Marketer.
Yeah.
It's to get
There's like
people to go to the booth.
3 customers. Okay.
They're spending $75,000 to get you to talk about them on the podcast.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You got it.
But to your point, though, it is a total waste when it comes to actual products.
Yeah.
Because it's not, the application is so small for the percentage of people who will actually do things with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, it's just so expensive to get a space on the floor that I'm like, how's this? Hey, they probably have it all figured out. But from our standpoint, I'm like 90% of the stuff is just unaffordable.
Not going to lie. I get so sad going to the back bathrooms when there's those little stalls at the end that nobody ever goes past.
Oh, yeah.
The one that I saw, I don't know, it wasn't this year, it was last year, somebody that does renderings from like the 90s. And I'm like, why did you spend your money to come here? I hope you got business.
Yeah. To draw 3 houses.
Yes.
Or, with colored pencils, whatever.
That's probably my biggest question mark. And to what you're saying, what do people get out of that part of it from the product side?
The market is so massive that I don't want to understate how huge the industry is.
Did you see over 81,000 people attended this year?
Yeah, I'd like to understand the breakdown of it, honestly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How many custom and remodeling?
Yeah, how many are actually
bath.
coming as a home builder, as a remodeler, as a, all this. Mm-hmm. But then you have to think about how many people who are there. We have a bunch of our suppliers who go. Yeah. They don't have a booth because they're just selling, the manufacturerer's products, but they're going and they're making connections.
That's where the networking comes in.
Yeah, but
in a big way for them.
There's thousands of those companies all over the country that they don't own a product, they sell it. Right. They're an in-between. So, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but the product stuff is cool, but it's like also kind of the cherry on top, because there's such a robust education component. And I get a little jaded by that as well, because generally it's a little bit of a regurgitated format and content as well. Yeah. Right. So going back to your original question, what should you really go for is, understanding how you can improve your organization. Yeah. Through connections.
This is why we go.
Yes. Yeah. Through connections with people who are doing really cool stuff. And I would say most of the great things you're gonna actually get from the experience is just a conversation. Yep. Right? Yeah. That's unstructured, but you're meeting people who do what you do elsewhere in the country, and they have some sort of great idea on how to do what you do. I'm going to rip off the great Mike Lyon here. He just said it. He says it every time. The magic is in the hallways. That's a good one.
That's kind of, right. You have to put in the effort, though. Yeah. Like, it doesn't just happen. You have to go out of your way to make connections. I mean, the difference between this year and the first time I went is just, I can't even tell you. It's like,
a lot totally of people different. Now.
Yeah. So the people that I've been getting to know more and more are introducing me to other people too. So, I mean, that's just how it works. But you have to make the effort. And that's actually really hard for me.
I know.
So, like, I've been working to get to this point, and it pays off.
It does.
It really does.
Yeah. I didn't do a ton of networking this year, and I was disappointed with myself, but I was just like mentally exhausted a lot as I get when I'm around a lot of people.
Well, you don't have to capitalize on every aspect of it. That was the other thing about going, why we try to go every year, is because you can't do it all. Like you're saying, networking is very important to us. The education is very important to us. Even just knowing what's happening in the market because of the market analysis and hearing the experts talk about like what's going to happen this year. Those things are all very important, but there's so much in such a small time frame in a huge space. Right. That sometimes you just can't focus on all of it at once. So
you just have to prioritize.
Went down for you this year, but it's like next year, not next year because it's in Orlando.
Yeah. It's not as good in Orlando for sure.
But the next time you'll probably have
focus more on the other stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was you hit everything that I had written down.
Oh, okay.
Except for market trends, like the forecast of the market. Yeah. So that was...
It's always a highlight for me.
I was going to say, I mean, that's kind of the first thing that I wanted to talk about, too.
Yeah. So in home building, there's like, I don't know, let's just call it 4 major factors on why the market does what it does. And, it always starts with demographics. So where we are in the timeline of the world with the generations and how many
size.
Babies we're having and everything. So we are in a demographic boom right now still. and we got like a 5-year, sweet spot from 2025 to 2030. So what's happening is there's still enough baby boomers to keep that retirement home community thing going for a while. A la our parents, in their early 70s, they're still going to be buying houses for a while with that type of product. Then obviously you get the Gen X, which is the generation in between ours and theirs, in their peak earning years. And then you have the millennials, where we are entering our peak earning years. And during the Great Recession, the millennials got crushed on the tail end of first-time home buyer thing. The average age of the first-time home buyer is 38 now.
I know. Isn't it insane?
Which is so, it's just crazy.
Which, honestly, the craziest part about that is exactly in the middle of the generation.
Yeah.
Isn't right smack dab in the middle of the millennial age group.
Right.
Because I'm on the way slash Gen
the boomer
X.
end.
Yeah, exactly. And our youngest sister, 10 years younger than me.
She's still a millennial,
She's still
right?
a millennial.
Okay.
And so that's right in the middle.
Yeah, so there's a huge opportunity there. But, demographics are strong for the millennials. And then what's the next generation? What do they call them?
Millennial, X, Y, Z, Alpha.
Gen Z?
Gen Alpha? Wait, Gen Z.
Gen Z. Okay. Those young kids. They're, in their 30s, some of them, right?
I don't know. We really...
Yeah. Well, anyway. Lots of good years ahead. Okay. For the next 5 years, the demographics are super strong.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I took away. I was like, check. Okay.
Yes.
Got 5 years
Yes.
and then got to get out of the business. No, okay. So, and then obviously the inventory is another huge leg of this, where we're still very tight on resale inventory. We're still undersupplied from a new construction standpoint, and we can stand to quote unquote overbuild for a number of years before we would kind of catch up.
Yeah.
It's still true. I've been saying this for 8 years, but it's still true.
And it's holding there.
Mm-hmm.
We're not pecking away at the inventory deficit right now.
Right. I will say one of the things that came up in a couple of those presentations that we talked about was the affordability issue, which we feel like we confront head on every day.
Yeah,
because our market is very much a value driven proposition in any location that we're in.
Correct.
It's not getting any better. There was definitely consensus amongst the economists in the talks that I went to that said these rates are going to be just what they are. Yep. Right?
Get used to it is really what everybody said.
Nobody's predicting specifics, but they are predicting if they're going to bet, they're going to bet that it's much more of the same, not like higher rates or lower rates,
right?
Which kind of makes sense, all the stuff that we read. So this is what it is. So you have to make a very, very deliberate decision on how you're going to make your homes affordable and understand there's no time in our home building lives that is more important than understanding what your buyer wants.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you're just guessing, you're going to guess with some dollars that are not going to be recouped. You're just going to be guessing the wrong way.
Right.
You're going to lose money on the front end or the back end. Unnecessarily adding, costs to homes that you don't need to, or you're not going to have a desirable community or home by not adding things in that people care about.
And that's the point, again, why we go to these things, so that we don't waste our money investing in things that don't matter.
Right.
To get this information and understand where the action is. Affordability, that's where it is.
A couple market trends I paid attention to was a little bit of a confirmation that, square footage matters if it's useful, right? So people are always going to spend their dollars on a bigger home if they can afford it, if there's a use for it. So that just means like
no two-story foyers.
No two-story foyers, right? Yeah. But people will opt for a smaller home if they do not have a use for X space, right? So like some of the expansion options, like a sunroom, people are going to probably look at that as a luxury. And they're going to say, for that money, I'd rather actually do a basement.
Right, exactly.
Right. So there is a real fine line with how people are spending their money.
Yeah.
And I heard that a couple times during the show.
Okay, you started out here talking about 4 different factors: demographics.
I was guessing on the 4, but...
inventory.
Yes.
What else impacts?
Land.
Availability. And timing. Yes.
Yeah. There's another thing. I don't know.
Well, this was a good...
I was guessing.
Oh,
I was
you were.
I mean, 4-ish.
Oh, okay.
You know, I
all
like
right.
to do a lot of bullet points. 3, 4. I'll get to the 4th.
We'll turn it back to a 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think demographics and inventory of actual homes, those are the 2 main drivers. You know, but then land, so approvals are a big deal.
Yes.
Timing, you know, red tape, right? So,
that was something interesting that came up a couple of times too, was how they're advocating, NAHB in particular, is advocating for the home builders for less of that because of that exact reason. Yeah. You know, that's their job, is to advocate for us.
Yes.
So that it is easier to safely build homes. But at the same time, you know, somebody's got to be taking, you know, that stance to say, hey, if you do this, this is how
this is what happens.
The entire industry is impacted.
I think there's like optimism and also some concern with the new presidential administration in terms of what they're trying to do.
I was getting whiplash listening, going, okay, good, bad.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, like the NAHB economists, they do not like tariffs. They're not fans of that approach.
And are fighting very hard.
Right.
Pushing back against it with lots of data.
Yep, they do not like those. They do obviously like the push of trying to cut down on red tape, though. Yeah. So we'll see.
Tax.
Yeah, and the tax benefits of you know, extending the tax cuts, but you know that stuff's all been since the beginning of time. So I don't really care about the political side of it. Right. It always goes. You know, evens out
back and forth every 4 years. Yeah. 4 to 8 years.
But what I will say that I did not like, and I was a little discouraged just because this directly affects us, is the market share of the top 10 home builders in the country has gone from, I'm paraphrasing, I want to say it was 6 or 7% in the early 90s. The top 10 builders, 6 or 7% of the homes built in the early 90s. It's over 48% now. Jeez. So the top 10 builders built about half the homes in the country last year. And it just keeps going up and up and up and up. And they're just buying companies.
That's what's impacting it. And there's a lot more conversations around mergers and acquisitions than ever. That's very much a hot topic when it comes to even the market outlook.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Anybody you talk to, are they talking about, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Buying or selling their company?
Someone asked to buy us.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, I
still waiting on the offer.
Yeah, who's very flattered, but then laughed really hard. Yeah. Please, you're barking up the wrong tree here. Yeah. But tell me why you would be interested in us. Yeah. So it was a really good conversation.
Yeah, it's more interesting to understand why. And at the end of the day, no matter what the guy said, it's still because they just need land position.
You got it. That's really what it came down to. Yeah. You know, we're established in this market. Yeah. And
so anyway, that, you know, I don't love that because it's just like a runaway train. You know, even in our whole shtick, our whole deal is that we want to stay out of those large markets, and we can't.
It's going to get harder and harder the bigger and bigger they get.
They need to grow. They literally need to put fuel in their engine every day, and the only way to do that is to expand geographically.
Yeah. And it's no matter what, it's just more annoying than anything else, and we'll just have to have more tools to compete in different ways.
Yeah.
It's not a threat to us.
No, it's not a threat. It's just annoying.
But it's like the annoyance level of red tape or a tariff or something like that. It's at that level in my mind.
It's they just artificially inflate the market.
Yeah, exactly.
Where the cost structure of land is fundamentally changed when they enter a market to the point where it's just not apples to apples. The cost of their home to build is X percent less, and so they can pay the delta in land.
Yeah.
And
cash heavy.
Yeah, and is it a better home?
We're going to say no.
I'm definitely going to say no. So I thought that was interesting, but I had no idea that. I never tallied it up like that, but it's like half the homes, 10 companies.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's just okay. And then how they have like the charts where the date is right now, and then they have like the future
projections,
like grayed out, and it's just like it's like going up.
Yeah.
So a different challenge, but I thought that was interesting at least.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we got out of the market aspect of it. The next thing that is always so interesting is like the innovation and tech.
Right.
Not necessarily the product stuff as much as like the partners and things.
Yeah. What was did you find a new idea, company, app, something on the tech floor?
I did. I came away with an entire list. I don't know how much of it is applicable to us, but it's always so interesting to understand how everything's tying together now. The big takeaway that I had was people are starting very much just opening the door to the idea of collaborating with their products.
Yeah, wow. That's my big beef. I don't think you should be allowed on the floor.
If you
have a closed loop solution.
Exactly.
Literally, you should not be allowed.
I really like that one.
And I was like looking at these giant, a couple of the big ones. I'm like, get out of here.
Right. The hardest part is ignoring the people that you can't even look at because of that.
Yeah.
It's
they're behemoths.
Yeah. There's so many good tools. If you could just take parts and pieces from each of the giant ones between Hyphen, Constellation, ECI, it's like they each have one piece that would be amazing to put with somebody else's one piece.
Probably. Well, and this is what it is. It's like, are you good at everything?
No. Nobody
Am I
is.
good at it? No. I have like a couple skill sets that I'm better than others at. And it would be really stupid if I thought that I was the best at everything.
Right. You wouldn't work here.
I wouldn't work here, for sure.
It doesn't fit in with our core values. We need to work only with partners who align with our core values. We've been doing a much better job of that. Yeah,
that's true. No, it's a great reminder.
This is where Novi Homes comes in.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic partner who is perfectly aligned with everything that we're saying, willing to collab with anyone.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic because that's how you get innovation.
Yeah, there's a lot of freedom, and it's just like being, a production home builder and saying we just don't do custom homes.
Just know yourself.
Yeah. There's 40 that I could refer you to that would do better than I would.
Yeah.
Why would I do a custom home then?
Exactly.
There's a lot of value, and it's just an attractive feature from somebody when you're talking to them, and they're just like, no, we don't do that, and we will never do that.
Correct. Yeah.
And you're like, oh, good.
Okay, so that was our soapbox.
Yeah. Hate that.
We did get a very cool demo.
Yeah.
Speaking of tech, I mean, AI is at the front and center still of what everybody's talking about, has been that way for a couple of years. What was really nice to see about AI is practical application for the very first time.
Yeah.
Nobody talking about replacing people's jobs or AI is going to take over the world. It's like, it's like
just a little thing.
Yeah, it's like when you first started to be able to clip it on your screen, like that was like the best thing ever that came out, that you could take a
little snapshot.
That's practical application that I can use. It's a tool to help me be more productive. And that's starting to come out now, which is like so exciting to me.
Yeah. Very early, couple years ago, it was like the smart people that knew that something was coming and they were just talking about it.
We're going to use it.
And now it's like, and then there probably was a period of time, maybe last year, the year before, where people were just taking big swings at how they think you could use it, but it's like not ready yet.
Right.
You get a bunch of people with hands, the AI hands.
The AI hands.
Yeah. But yeah, we saw that copy. What was it? It was like a screenshot. The ability to download an entire plan in 3D in 2 seconds.
Took a 2D flat rendering of one of our floor plans.
Yeah.
Scanned it. And turned it into a 3D model, an estimated 3D model.
Cost applied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we have to, this was our favorite team at Hierarch, who's been demoing this stuff for us for 2 years now. Yeah. We love those guys, love what they're doing. Great product. So happy to see how many people are using it and where it's going.
Yeah, and they're super collaborative.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, they really get it. They're trying to work with other companies.
Well, they're finding other people who are aligned like that and giving builders even better experiences because they know who they are. They know where they stop.
Yeah.
And they're looking for people who are the experts in the next step.
Yeah.
Before, during, and after to say, okay.
Yeah.
How can we make this work together for these people? That's music to my ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll work with them eventually when the timing's right.
They have to finish a couple more things on our list first. Sorry, Jared.
It's all right.
And Sam. Okay, so that's tech. Anything else tech related? Did you see anything else or anything surprise you?
No, I usually get excited and then upset.
We can't ever get anything nice.
Yeah. I get upset because I'm just like, it's too distracting.
Yeah.
There's too many of them.
There is a lot.
And I just get frustrated with the sales pitches of like, oh, so you're going to solve all my problems, huh? And they're all like, yep.
I promise.
Absolutely.
And
Let's start from the top.
They have to be so nice about it.
Yeah. And I'm just like, no, you won't. You don't even know my problems. I don't want to tell you.
Yeah. That's basically a reenactment of Ben in the tech floor.
Yeah. Yeah. I just get really angry.
You do not spend a lot of time there.
No.
It is funny.
No. I'm like, I will get out a piece of paper. Okay? You don't want to see my notes.
What else do we want to talk about with that? No,
education? Anything?
That would be the last thing. So, yeah.
Well, I was super excited to hear Sean, our friend Sean Van Dyke.
Yes.
He did a little talk on data, which was really cool. He used our data for one of them or for one of the examples. But, I did find myself looking around the room like, do you guys understand what he's talking about here? How important this stuff is?
I was blown away with his ability to condense that level of information into a digestible presentation.
Right.
I mean,
it was really good.
It was really, really good. Like in terms of informative, but also sticky. Like I still remember what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And applicable. Mm-hmm. There were takeaways. Mm-hmm. It's like he took you through the whole journey and it was like, oh, I know what to look at right now.
really hard to articulate a subject that's relevant to how different the audience is.
Oh, yeah. There's people in there building 3 homes and up to over 500.
Yeah, he nailed it. It was great. That was my favorite talk because I just love the idea of, I don't care who you are, what business you have, but I have something that you can use at all sizes and types.
Yep, and it's simple.
Simple, yep. Not easy, simple.
Yep.
So that was cool.
What was interesting was his little narrative about the World War II planes.
You said that was in another talk.
It was in the first one I went to. Yeah. Never heard it before, and then I heard it twice in the same week, survivorship bias. Yep. I couldn't remember it when I was talking.
Right.
I was like, the thing that everybody saw twice this week. I just... it was out in left field for a minute in front of an entire room of people.
Oh, when you talked.
Yes, when I was presenting.
Yeah, that was funny. I was like, the thing.
You know, the planes.
Yeah, you recovered.
I don't think
pretty
I did.
Well. That was a good talk, too. I forgot to tell you that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Yeah.
I think that I'm with you. Sean's talk is tied with the first one I saw that had that explanation in there. And that was 20 marketing mistakes that we made so you don't.
Oh.
It was really good.
Yeah, that is good.
Mm-hmm. Our friends, Do You Convert, Julie Jarnigan, she's our girl.
Yeah.
She spoke. It was really great because it was that survivorship bias is basically not interpreting the information that you have correctly because you survive, so you correlate data.
Yeah. This must be good.
You give credit to something that you shouldn't.
Right.
Instead of flipping it on its head and analyzing it differently. I'm really butchering this. Just look it up, survivorship bias. But
I know what you meant.
The point is don't make assumptions about information. You have to know what you're looking at to make an analysis. And that was kind of Sean's point too. It correlates perfectly to marketing analysis. And so, there's some pretty good sessions.
Yeah.
Not as many good ones as there typically are, but almost better than they usually are.
I found my schedule to be a little thin.
Yeah.
After, maybe Tuesday.
It was interesting. There was usually more that I'm rushing to get to.
Right. It also has something to do with, I filter so much. At some point, I've always said our construction team is running on they're just so smooth in the operation. We're not learning a ton about construction anymore. Let's just be honest.
John D. did have a couple takeaways.
He did. But
yes.
Not how to build a house.
No.
Right? And I'm not saying that we know everything. I'm just saying, generally speaking, that's probably the last stuff on the list, even though there's a lot of content on, building practices.
Yeah.
We rely so heavily on our
trade partners
to keep us, razor sharp on that stuff that I don't go to the show
for that.
Try and fill out my schedule with construction details.
No. What would you do? Write it down and then go to each of our people that do the work and say, did you ever think about...
Yeah, and then they go, yeah, we did, and it doesn't work.
Exactly.
Or something like that.
Yeah, don't waste your time.
But, outside of the construction side, it's usually more the customer experience journey that's woven into the construction side.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And John mentioned, he had a couple really good takeaways on how to manage the jobs a certain way.
Yep.
What was the quote that he said that he really liked?
Don't get out of your truck unless you're carrying your measuring tape.
Your tape measure. Your measuring tape? What is that?
I'm
Is that like a cloth roll up thing?
It's from a sewing kit.
Your measuring tape. Okay.
I take it back.
Yes. Yeah. Tape measure. Yeah, that's a really good one because if you're not bringing your tape measure, you are not checking things right?
That's
the whole point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He also brought up, this is where the innovation comes in education and all of that, where you're going, oh, I wonder if this could work for us. The session where that guy was talking about the measuring tape, he also brought up efficiencies for our superintendents.
Yeah.
And was talking about implementing a centralized scheduling system.
Oh, yeah.
And, how do we free up the guy's time to build the home, because that's what's the important thing to us.
Right. Well, we always say the goal is for them to be in every room of every house every day. So how do you make that happen?
Yeah, what's preventing them from being able to do that?
Yeah. And certainly from our standpoint, well, a lot of production home builders, like it's a lot of that paperwork. It's not paperwork, it's online, but a lot of managing, the systems.
Yeah.
And so you want to minimize that as much as possible so they can be out of the truck and into the homes every day.
Yeah.
Every house, every room, every house, every day.
You learn anything else?
No, just hopefully I didn't get some sort of weird virus that's with me for, 3 months or something.
Well, feels like 3 months.
Feels like 7 years. It's been 7 days.
Did you see there were a ton of people who got the flu?
No.
Ton.
No, just only the person that took care of themselves the best out of everybody else. Did all the things. I ate well, I slept well, I worked out, took my vitamins, drank a lot of water, and
the only one,
all of you other degenerates that just treated their bodies like a circus for 5 days, totally fine.
Did you learn your lesson?
Yeah.
Now you know what to do.
Maybe. I don't know.
I did basically hear the same amount of people have gotten sick that did
during COVID. Oh, there were so many people that got sick. I did not. That was weird.
Yeah.
After COVID. Yeah.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do we have a shout out this week?
I did not have one specifically.
Speaking of the International Builder Show, we should give a shout out to the guys that go and the effort and work that they put in for being there.
Yeah.
We're talking about all of these things, why we go. It's also why they go.
Right.
And effort that they put in to get as much out of it as possible has to be commended, because
they work really hard at everything. Yeah.
And doing the networking, attending the education,
right.
Walking the floor. I mean, it's a
vendors.
lot, and they're all in it 100% the whole time. We do come back exhausted.
Yeah. No, it's good.
If anybody has any questions about anything we did or didn't cover,
let me know.
All
right. We'll see you next week.
Bye.